We often think of the end of the Civil War like a movie credit scene. The chains break, the sun rises, and everyone lives happily ever after. But history isn't a movie. For 4 million formerly enslaved people, freedom was a legal word, not a physical reality. It didn't come with a bank account, a home, or a map. Welcome to the reality of freedom. In this episode, we aren't looking at presidents and generals. We're looking at the ledger books and the soil. We're talking about the Freedmen's Bureau, the heartbreaking math of sharecropping, and how communities built their own survival systems from scratch. If you want to help our channel survive the YouTube economy, please plant a like on this video and harvest that subscribe button. It helps us keep the lights on. Now, let's look at the cost of survival. The government's answer to the chaos was the Freedmen's Bureau. To run it, they chose General Oliver Otis Howard, the Christian general. Howard was a war hero who lost his right arm at the Battle of Fair Oaks. He was devout, sincere, and completely overwhelmed. The Bureau's mission was massive: feed the hungry, negotiate labor contracts, and build schools. But Congress gave them almost no money. In some parts of the South, there was only one agent for every 10,000 to 20,000 people. These agents, often young Union soldiers, were the only thing standing between freedmen and angry former slaveholders. Despite the odds, their biggest success was education. They planted schools all over the South. For a people who had been legally forbidden to read for centuries, the schoolhouse was more holy than the church. Grandmothers sat next to toddlers, all desperate to decipher the magic of the alphabet. But what people wanted most was land. Toward the end of the war, General William Tecumseh Sherman, the man who burned Atlanta, issued Field Order No. 15. It promised 40 acres and a mule to freed families along the coast. It felt like justice. But after Lincoln died, President Andrew Johnson overturned the order. He pardoned the Confederate planters and gave them their land back. Union soldiers were forced to do the unthinkable: evict the freedmen from the land they had just started to farm. It was a betrayal that would shape the economy for a century. Without land, you can't eat. So a new system emerged: sharecropping. It sounded fair. Work the land and we'll split the crop. But the math was rigged. The landowner controlled the land. The local merchant, often the landowner too, controlled the supplies. They sold tools and food to the farmer on credit, with interest rates as high as 60%. This was the crop lien system. By harvest time, the farmer's debt was often higher than the value of his share of the cotton. The books were cooked, and the farmer was told, "You owe me money. You can't leave until you pay it off." It wasn't slavery by law, but it was slavery by debt. To enforce this, Southern states passed black codes and vagrancy laws. If a black man was found without a job or a home, which was easy when you had no money, he could be arrested and leased out to a plantation to work off his fine. It was a legal trap with no exit. Yet, in this harsh reality, African Americans built their own world. The most powerful institution was the church. During slavery, the invisible institution met in secret in the woods. Now, they built churches of wood and brick on main streets. The black church wasn't just for Sunday service. It was the town hall, the political headquarters, the school, and the social safety net. It was the one place where a black man or woman could be a leader, not a laborer. This desire for independence led to the creation of HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. Institutions like Fisk and Howard University were founded to train the teachers, doctors, and lawyers that the community desperately needed to survive. The reality of freedom was a grind. It was a daily battle against a rigged economic system and a society that refused to change. But through the church, the school, and sheer grit, the community laid the foundations for a future that wouldn't arrive for another 100 years. But as Black communities began to organize and gain strength, a terrifying backlash was forming in the shadows. Next time, in Theme 3, we will cover the rise of the KKK, the violence that crushed Reconstruction, and the lost cause myth. How would you have handled the choice between staying on the land as a sharecropper or leaving everything behind to move west? Let me know your strategy in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next chapter of history. Until next time, stay curious.